Yes, hello everybody. And so before I begin, I want to read you an email that I just got 3 hours ago, actually. It came from Debbie McCormick, who has Sunnyside Cottage, and I thought it was a perfect way to start this off. It says, "Hi, Bob and Susan, hope all is well. I just wanted to share with you the excitement I'm feeling over our launching of the 6-box program. Her graphic designer created it. It had a fun look, et cetera, et cetera. We've done it for 3 days and are averaging 31 customers a day. 31 people who are raising their hand and giving her permission to build a relationship." She goes on to say that one of the things I really love about this is it's helping me to remember customers' name and helping to connect with them. I have their card right there, and I can say, "Thanks, Judy. We'll see you next time." So often I don't get people's names if they pay with cash. I've also been writing their kids' names on the card, so when they come in, I can address the kids, ask them about school, etc. It's just so very exciting to me. Can't wait to give you more feedback down the road. I get this kind of feedback all of the time. This program, so the seminar, the webinar is actually titled How to Get Rock-Solid Customer Loyalty. And I want to say to you that the simplest, easiest, most effective way to get rock-solid customer loyalty is to have a great frequent buyer program. And in the 12 years that we've been doing whiz-bang training here, I have seen every permutation of frequent buyer program that you could ever possibly imagine. I've seen the punch cards, I've seen the POS programs, I've seen the volume discounts. Nothing compares to this. It is drop dead simple and mind-blowingly effective. So let's sort of go through. So what we're going to do today is we're going to give you. We're just going to talk about this. We're going to go deep on the 6-box program so that you can go out and put it into place in your business within a half hour of hanging up the phone. And then if you want to go deeper, I'm going to give you, on some more marketing stuff, I'm going to give you some information on that also. Sound fair? So on the screen here, you have a 6-box program card. You see what that is? That is an index card. Okay. That is an index card. And that index card, as you can see, has a place for someone's name and 6 boxes. Hence the name. And when someone comes in and shops in your store, one of the 6 boxes, the amount of their purchase minus tax, is put into one of the 6 boxes. After they have made 6 purchases, 10%, which is that round number, of their 10% of their total purchases are given back to them in the form of a store credit. Now, something that's very important, part of what makes this program so great is that it is kept out on the floor, meaning when your customer comes in, they walk up to your box and they pull their card. And this is what, and please, this is so important. This is why it works. There's a consumer psychology involved. And what's happening when they're walking around with their card? They are doing 2 things. First of all, they're adding up how much they have in the form of a store credit, meaning they're starting to spend their credit already, and they're also figuring out how they can get back in and fill in the remaining boxes. I have to tell you, redemption is addicting. People love this program. And I want to, and so some of you are looking at this right now and going, come on. It can't be that simple. In fact, Kathy Wagner, some of you know Kathy. She's the retail maven, and I have a lot of respect for Kathy. I like her a lot. Real sharp retailer, real sharp retail trader. But I did an interview with her, and she said, "Bob, when I first saw that program, I thought it was dumb. I thought it was silly. But then somebody hired her to do her merchandise planning, and that person has the 6-box program, and just went on and on and on. Their enthusiasm was, practically jumping out of their pores. And she said, well, you know what? I've become a believer. So if you're looking at this and going, I don't need to spend any more time, I don't need to listen anymore, I'm telling you, you're incorrect. This is, like I said, this is an amazingly effective program. Another thing that happens that sort of speaks to the effectiveness of the program. So when I go out and speak, whenever I do a marketing program, I always talk about this just because, it's my job to give the audience my best stuff. And if I speak to an audience 1 year and I talk about it, there'll always be a handful of people who will go back to their stores and actually do it and do it. But most people, like you may be, are skeptical. It looks too simple. I'm giving away margin. There's all these questions and reasons not to do it. But then, because I'm a fairly good speaker, if I can so modestly say, I'm often invited back to a group. And when I'm invited back to a group, if there's any marketing materials, or if somehow the 6-box program makes its way into that second program, I know immediately who in the room has a 6-box program. Why? Because they can't help themselves. They just want to raise their hand and go, I'm doing it. This is great. They just, you know how an unsolicited testimonial goes. It's practically screaming out of them. So please, don't let the simplicity of the program create skepticism that will keep you from taking action on this. So when you do that, when you finally do that, so here's a couple of examples. Here's Don Tegler. He's got a smaller, he just started his program. You can see that he's got, several people in his program, but he just started about 3 months before that. But if you stick with it, here's what's going to happen. All of a sudden, this is Ann Schneider from the front porch in Wisconsin. She's got over 15,000 people in her program, and that box that you see there is an old library box. And Ann cannot say enough about the program. Ann was in the last session of the Marketing Mentor program, and she just got on the phone and said, if anybody has any questions about this program, please have them call me. I'm just such a believer. It's done such great things. So that's an example of how it can be done right. Now, this is interesting also. So if you look, you see that she's got, on the right-hand side of the slide, she's got a box. And what Ann does is whenever anybody when they filled out their 6-box, her staff then puts their card into that box, and once a week, Ann sends out the credit, the certificate the credit in the form of a gift certificate, and through the mail, which is a very, very nice personal touch. Some people just let people spend it right there on the spot, or create the gift certificate on the spot. But again, incredibly valuable program, and you can see 15,000. We have many, many, many people who have over 10,000 names in their program, and we have hundreds, if not thousands, of our clients, people who are part of our community around the world who are using this program with great success. So why is this program so effective? A good frequent buyer program rewards the two most important buying behaviors. And they are spend more money and shop more often. This is one of the big problems with many of the programs that I've seen is, when you spend $250, you get a $20 credit. Well, you're not rewarding frequency. You've given no one an incentive to come back in again and again and again. So really, you want to reward both. You want to reward them for spending a lot of money, but you also want to reward them for coming in regularly. And unless your frequent buyer program is doing both, it's it's not having a fraction of the impact that it's supposed to have. So these are just a couple of testimonials from people. And Todd Anderson from RC Excitement, we have approximately 1,200 people in our program, and it has eliminated the price argument. How about that? You see, when you get people excited about your program, price becomes so much less important. What happens is they want to. They need to. They have a burning desire to actually, to fill up those boxes. So, it's a powerful, powerful thing. And look at what Todd's sales were. I love this one. So he started that in 2008, and you can see that, it has really, really had an incredible effect on his business. And perhaps just as importantly, his margins have gone way, way up. So, this is the sort, those results are, I wouldn't say that they're typical. But I would say, these results are real, and I would say that, everyone who does it and uses it effectively has had incredible success. And this is just an illustration. So I'm going to give you an example of a couple of programs. This is Todd's, and the thing that you should see here is that because Todd sells, radio-controlled toys, he has an invoice number slot on each of the 6 boxes. And what that allows him to do, it diminishes the probability of fraud. So what he does is he goes into his POS system, especially if there's any question about any of the purchases. He goes into his POS system and he checks against that they actually made the purchase. Now, here's something that's interesting. If you look on the bottom, it says 10% back total after 6 days of purchases in in-store credit. Todd and I have had this conversation, but in general, I don't like that line of fine print the way that and Todd would not mind me saying this. I don't care for that because the way that I treat it is that after you've made your 6 purchases, that 10% or whatever number you choose, you can do something different if you have different margins, but that money's yours. Spend it however you want to spend it. Don't put stipulations on it. It just makes what should be a celebration, it's a little bump in the road. So here's another example of a really nice card. This is a 6-box program from a bird store. The Bird House up in Muskegon, Michigan. And they have different wreaths made of bird seed. Very clever, very cute. But this is actually my favorite because this comes from one of our favorite whiz-bang retailers, Julie Hubbard, and the corner store in down there in Illinois. And she never even has printed one up. You see that? When somebody comes in, the card on the right is made with a white paper, and she just draws 3 lines in it. There's no technology at all. So she just puts the lines in it, and away they go. Now, here's something that's interesting and cool that Julie does. 2 things. First of all, so you see that there's the white card on the right, and there's the pink card on the left. And then after people have filled out their first card, they get a pink card. Ooh, how about that? And so, what that says to everyone else who is shopping is that they have earned something. Now, I'm going to tell you go off the slides for just a moment here. One of the things that lots of whiz-bang retailers are doing very, very, very successfully is they are doing a 5th Saturday sale. So bear with me here. At Julie's store, everyone, shops, and after they've filled out one full card, they get a pink card, meaning that they've sort of achieved a different level of status in their hierarchy of customers. But not only do they get a pink card from then until forever, they also get a specially screened bag, very nice bag that anybody who gets the bag, you cannot buy the bag, you can only earn the bag any month that has 5 Saturdays. There's, 4 or 5 of them every year. Anybody who has a bag can bring in their bags, and anything they can fit into the bag, they get a 20% discount for. That 5th Saturday bag, when we start talking about building out your marketing calendar, what you want to do is you want to find, a certain amount every couple of months. You want to have a big event. And for, again, all of the people in our community, all the whiz-bang retailers who are using the 6-box program, making sure that people earn the bag, the people who get the bag love it. Love it. And they're, so they have 5, however many 5th Saturdays they are in a year, it really puts some heft into the marketing calendar before they eat. It's 5 dates in your annual marketing calendar, marked off, filled in, ready to go, and you're going to absolutely crush it on those dates. So, speaking of pink cards, here's another tactic that you might want to consider. Judy Fenton, who owns Mill Creek Sewing and Fabric in Pennsylvania, what she's done is anybody who buys a sewing machine at a sewing center, and anybody who buys a sewing machine from her then gets a pink line, highlighted line through their name. She might have changed it over to a pink card then. And then what happens if you have if you've got the pink highlighted name or the pink card, then not only do you, then you save 15%. So what starts to happen is your customers are looking at your other customers and they say, how did you get a pink line on your card? And, you have to buy the machine there. So then what starts to happen is that customer loyalty goes deeper, and she's incentivizing people to buy their machines from her. And some of these machines are very, very expensive, by the way. Now, I want to stop for just a moment and address something that I know some of you are thinking. Some of you are thinking that you're giving away money, that those sales that are associated with this program would be yours anyway. And for a certain very small percentage of the people who participate in your program, that may be true. That you get 100% of their purchases on whatever you sell, that may be true. But I would also contend that with most customers, you cannot assume that loyalty. And so what I would encourage you to recognize, and again, this has been, borne out when I had this program in my store. It's being, tested and confirmed with hundreds and hundreds of other retailers, is that the reinvestment in the relationship makes for more profitable customers. So what you're doing is you are giving up some margin with your best customers, but you're more than making it back both in lifetime value, meaning they're going to shop with you more and more and more, they're going to spend more money, but also in new customers, because the people who participate in this program can't wait to talk to their friends about you and your store. Now, there's one final thing I want to talk about on this, and that's there's a dot on that card. And what Julie does, if it's slow in her store, she has her staff go through her her boxes. She doesn't have a library box, but she has many boxes, and look for people who haven't shopped in a while. So if it's been 3 months, what they'll do is they'll just drop a quick little email, or maybe write a handwritten note, or if they know them well enough, just give them a call. Just say, hey, we haven't seen you for a while. Just want to make sure everything's okay. So it's also a customer reactivation tool for her. So those are 3 examples. Again, you see, here's what's important is that the program works. You have to take it and make it your own and figure out how it should work best for you. Just recognize the program works. So one of the great benefits is that this tool, this customer appreciation program, this VIP program, is a great, in fact, it's the best way I know to get people to willingly give you their name, contact information, their email address, their birthdays for a birthday club. Because what's happening when somebody comes into your store and they have a great experience, and you invite them to join your program, and they say, sure, Bob, I'd love to be in your program. What's happening is they have raised their hands, figuratively, of course, and they're giving you permission to build a relationship. They're giving you permission. This is so important. But you see, if all you do is say, hey, this is my program, here's 6 boxes, after 6 purchases, you save 10%, people will say to you, well, I don't really want to give you my email address. So what you want to do is, and building your list is so critical to your success. The size of your email database has a direct impact on your ability to market to your current customer base. I think, we all recognize that. So what you want to do is have more than just the 6 box in the card. You want your frequent buyer program to offer lots of low-cost, high-value benefits. So we have the 10% discount after 6 purchases. You have a free subscription to your email newsletter. You have member invitations to member-only sales. Shouldn't the people who participate, who join your program, who are your VIPs, shouldn't they get first crack at your best deals? Of course they should. So, and how are you going to let them know about that? You're going to let them know about that via email, notification of events, entered into a monthly drawing, premium seating. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to not only give them the benefits of the card and the 10% or 5% or whatever number you choose discount after 6 purchases, we're trying to build a suite of low cost to you, high benefit to them, benefits. That's how we really, really, really make our program something special. How we make that program makes our customers feel like something really, really special. Because the name of the game in marketing today, if you're an independent retailer, it's relationships. It's about what can you give to your customers that's going to make them feel wonderful about you and your store and the experience that you give. That's what it's all about. And when people join your program, you are 2/3 of the way there. You've got them. They've given you permission. This is where I would like to quickly, this webinar is about something that you can use right away. But there's a problem. I mean, it's not an end all. You still need new customers, don't you? And you need to get new customers without spending a fortune. And although this is wonderful, you still need to know how to create the promotions. You need to have a plan. This is one sliver of the bigger marketing picture. And starting in just very next week even, I think it is, and tell me if I'm incorrect, Natalie, September 10th, starting September 10th, through October 12, we are doing another session of the Marketing Mentor Program. There's 8 lessons. They're all video lessons. They will be delivered to you. We've got the technology down. The technology works perfectly. The videos have already been made. They're already embedded, so you won't have the frustration you had here today. But, if you like what you're hearing here, and you think that what I'm saying makes sense, I want to say to you that your investment in the Marketing Mentor Program, the investment of your money, the investment of your time, the investment of your creativity will do amazing, amazing, amazing things. Marketing is what connects you to the money. You know, you can have the best store in the world. You can have the most beautiful merchandise in the world. You can have the best location in the world. But if you don't know how to drive traffic, if you don't know how to attract new customers and pull your current customers back in more often, you're fighting a losing battle. So the whole emphasis in the Marketing Mentor program is to create a plan. In those 8 weeks, we go through tactics, we go through strategies, we go through tips, we go through techniques. The 6-box program, again, is only one tiny sliver, but when it's done at the end, assuming you do the work, you will have an absolutely killer marketing plan. And when you send that marketing plan to me, I will personally review it, critique it, and send you a YouTube video with my impressions. This is good. You might want to consider this. So I will give you my full-on attention to your plan and give you feedback, very, very valuable feedback. The Marketing Mentor program is only $497. So it's one of those investments that will pay for itself again and again and again and again. You buy $500 worth of merchandise, you get $1,000 at the end of the day. You expand your marketing mindset, and it will stay with you forever. So I want to strongly encourage you, and invite you to be part of the program. Go to www.marketingmentorprogram.com, and you can learn a lot more. You'll learn more of the details, and also that's where you can sign up. But clearly you're interested in marketing because you're on this webinar, and frankly, there's nothing like it anywhere, the Marketing Mentor Program. Let's talk about some frequently asked questions. We'll go through these, and then we'll take your question. Also, what about privacy? This is a common question that I get asked, and I have never, ever seen it become a problem. There have been isolated incidents, but what you do is if somebody doesn't want their card out where anybody can see it, allow them to keep the card in their wallet. Just allow them. Don't try to control this thing. Let your customers just participate. So privacy, again, it's always brought up, but anybody who's in the program has always just said, it's just never really become a problem. Next common question is, can I keep the box behind the counter? And the answer is you can do whatever you want. It's your business. But there's something about the participation. There's something about them going into the box, grabbing their card, with that physical act is a subconscious affirmation of their relationship with you. So, if you want to keep it behind the counter, you can, but I strongly discourage that. Keep it out there. Let people go grab their own cards. What if they don't want to leave the card? Again, that's sort of the same one as what about privacy. Let them take it with them. Especially if you do like Todd did, where you have, a place for an invoice number so you can double check. If you're concerned about fraud, that's one way to get around it. Do I give 10% back on clearance items? Yes! There's a reason it's clearance. So, again, the sort of the overall, and there are always exceptions. General rule, and again, everybody's business is different, but as a general rule, I like to say if it's cash in the till, except for tax, if it's cash in the till, you want to give them credit. Again, you're rewarding your best customers for being your customers and shopping with you. Can't I just keep it in my POS system? Again, you can do whatever you want, but I would not recommend it. The physicality of the card is one of the things that makes it so effective. Them carrying around the card, them looking at the card, adding up their, it almost makes them happy that they have big purchases. I just went and bought some flowers for my mother-in-law on her birthday at our local garden center / florist, and they use the 6-box program. We taught it to them. And I looked at my card, and there was, I don't know who somebody bought something for $100. Maybe it was me, I don't know. But I thought, oh, good, it made me feel good that I had a big purchase in one of those boxes, because it meant I was going to get a bigger credit. So being able to see that is so important, and when you put it in a POS system, it diminishes that quality. Another question. What if I get too many people in cards? I get this all the time. I've had this conversation several times. People call me up and say, Bob, I've got 5,000, 6,000. I've got 6 boxes or 7 boxes of cards, not boxes on the cards. What am I going to do? I want to put it in my POS system. And I always, talk them down from it. So when you get more people, it invokes social proof. People look at it and go, wow, this program must be great. If everybody else is participating, I should too. This is where, like the email that I read earlier, 30 a day. People are signing up. People are seeing other people sign up. It's generating excitement. You want your program to have 15,000 cards in a library box. It means that your program is working as advertised. Another common question is, what if I have multiple stores? And usually if there's multiple stores, they happen in the same area. So our clients do it one of two ways. If people shop often at both stores, customers will quite often have one card in each store. If that isn't the case, what our clients do is, let's say I go into your store A and I make a purchase in store A, but my card is in store B. The sales associate in store A makes a note on my receipt that I wasn't given credit for that purchase, and when I bring that receipt into store A, I'm given the credit there and then. So, these are all sort of logistics issues that I know you're all smart enough to deal with. How about high-ticket items? So now here's how Judy Fenton handles it. She creates bundles for her sewing machines. And so the bundles sort of play the price card and allow you to sort of hide the true cost of the machine, but she gives people a choice. You can either get the discounted bundle, or you can pay full price and put it on your card. Now let's take a look at what's happening here. So a lot of people are financing these high-end ticket items, right? These high-ticket items. And what they're doing, if they're financing it, is they're getting an immediate rebate that they can buy fabrics and things like that in. So, or if they're getting the machine as a gift, it's sort of stretching that gift out a little bit, because some of these sewing machines cost $10,000. So there's lots of reasons for people to go, I want to pay full price and I want to put it on that card because I know that I'm going to get $1,000 worth of goodies that I can use differently. Another thing that happens, Todd Anderson, RC Excitement, they sell a lot of high-end goods. Once you get people in your program, assuming you're doing a great job doing everything else, people are willing to pay a little more because they understand that the value you provide comes from more than just price. What about my one punch for my $25 program? You know the kind that I'm talking about. Every time somebody spends $25, they get a punch, and after they fill out the card, they get a certain, cash back or something like that. I hate those programs. I hate them for a couple reasons. First of all, you're kind of forcing your staff to cheat or keep your customers happy. What happens if I go and I spend 20, I kind of wink, wink, nudge, nudge at the sales associate, can you give me another punch? So it never is clean. It's never cut and dried. The other thing that I don't like about it is, again, it's rewarding dollar volume but not frequency. I love to reward the people who are spending little bits but coming in often. Whether they can't afford it, whether they don't want to pay for it, I still want those people as my customers. I still love them, I still appreciate them, and I want to reward them. So the one punch for $25 program does not reward frequency, which in my opinion makes it much less effective than this program. And the final question I have here is, how do I transition from my current program? And so by the way, I apologize for the poor quality slide there. I just made that, just before we started this when I realized that we didn't have a professionally produced slide. But here's what happens. A lot of people say, I've got a frequent buyer program. It's not very good, or I like this a lot better, but how do I change it? How do I change it? And here's the answer. You launch this program. So when we talk about launching the program, introducing the program to your customers, always remember, it's about them. It's about making them happy. It's about serving them better. It's about expressing your love for them. It's always about them. So the first thing that I would do is I would put a lot of energy into it. By energy, I mean I would talk about it in my emails regularly. I would talk about it in Facebook. I would spend a full month really sort of talking about it regularly, encouraging people to come in and sign up. I would also transition my current customers into it automatically. I would go and I'd, do a Excel, spreadsheet, and just have labels printed, and if you're on my mailing list now, you're automatically signed up for this program. Just come on in, and we'll take good care of you. So it really gives you an opportunity to talk to your customers, to show some excitement, to build some excitement. But now, when you look at the slide that we have here, you notice that I have 3 X's earned in $100. This is what I recommend to all of you to launch this program with the greatest impact. So, what you want to do, you really want people to get to that first redemption. You want them to feel the excitement associated with getting that free something or other. I'll tell you what. So I'll give you a quick story. So I fly Delta Airlines, and I only fly Delta. You know why I fly Delta? Because that's where my miles are. And I love watching my miles add up. And I also love it when I get a chance to redeem. That redemption makes me feel, smart or something. I'm flying for free. I'm taking my family on vacation for free. And that's what you want people to do. Because once they get that first redemption, they're hooked. You want to get them to the first redemption as quickly as possible so that they see and they feel the benefits of the program. So here's what I recommend, that you fill in, you give them the first 2 boxes. Give it to them. Again, you don't need to get to 6. You just need them to get right away. And then in that box that says earned, if somebody participates in your frequent buyer program right now, you don't want to penalize them. So let's say that you have a $25 punch card. You want to tell your people that if they bring in their punch card, you're going to give them credit for the punches they've already earned. So if I come into your store and I've had 6 punches, that means that I've spent $150. So I would put that $150 in box number 3. Now, this is where some people get a little nervous, but I'm looking at you and telling you that this is a great thing. In box number 4, give them $100. $100. Now, It looks generous as can be, doesn't it? You are such a good person. You're giving them a $100 box. Think about what it really costs you. If your cost of goods are roughly 50%, it's costing you $5, right? Because they're going to redeem 10% of 100, and that's going to mean that they're going to redeem 10, and your cost of goods, your merchandise into that $10 redemption is 5. And I'm looking at all of you and telling you that $5, see it as an investment in the excitement and enthusiasm for the program. See it as a marketing cost. This is a great, great way to launch your program. Because otherwise people have to get to 6 to redeem. You want to bring them to 6 as quickly as possible. It's the illusion of progress. It's a powerful psychological concept. We're not going to talk about it today, but they think they're getting there quicker, and when they think they're getting there quicker, they accelerate the actions they need to take to get the desired reward, which is the redemption. So, Natalie, that is the last slide, and that's the thumbnail sketch of the 6-box program. Natalie, do we have any questions that I might answer?
Yes, we do have some questions today. I have some questions that came in on the through the website that we'll go over first. I know that one person asked if this reward program was in the Mastery series. I'm assuming they mean the in the Retail Mastery system. It is. It's also in the Marketing Mentor program that Bob talked about earlier. It goes through the Xbox program in depth along with a pretty lengthy special report about it as well. So I wanted to answer that as well. I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
Nope.
All right. I had a really great question here at the beginning that would be a great one to add to our Q&A slide. Someone says, what if someone comes in and then never comes back? How long do we keep the card on file?
That's a great question. Thank you for that question. I'd sort of keep them on file forever, but there is because nothing would make me madder than I spent $100 and I want to get another box and I can't use it. But what a lot of people do is once a year or so, because in the boxes just about everybody puts the date of the sale. So, it gets slow in February, depending on your business, of course, go through, and anybody who hasn't been in for a while, it goes back to what Julie Hubbard did with the customer reactivation. But a lot of people sort of have an unactive file where they keep them, but they keep it under the counter, and and then if somebody hasn't been in for 2 years or something like that, throw them away. But in general, keep them for a long time. Another reason to keep them, and I know that for some of you organized people this would drive you crazy, but I'm going back to this concept of social proof. If people see a big program with lots of cards, it means that it must be something special. So, again, it's a great question, but it's one of those logistic issues that you need to find out what you're comfortable with.
All right. We have a few comments here from Dave. The comment that I liked the best was that I thought was kind of humorous was the lack of technology in the 6-box program is another positive given today's challenges.
Somebody came up to me and said, that is wonderful. Somebody came up to me and said, I'm trying to build this techno, or no, I know what it was. He said, my kids, all use Twitter and their phones and stuff like that. They're not going to like it. And it's like, look, the desire to win something, to get something for free, and the fact that you can see it right there transcends age and time. Yes. I love the fact that it's low tech. Love it. So thank you, Dave. Good comment.
Kathleen says she tried to introduce the program to her store, and for a flower shop, it didn't work all that well. Most people are on the run and too busy to fill it out. She says she'll keep on trying, but I'm wondering if there isn't another way that you can get these people another way you can introduce it to them to get them to sign up for these cards.
Right. That's interesting. I don't hear that very often. In fact, I can, in the 12 years that we've been teaching this, I can think of it less than, a handful. What I would do is I would really consider, I don't think I think it's a problem of how you're introducing it and how, what you're asking for people. So what I would do is it was Kathleen, is that correct, Natalie?
Yes.
Yeah, so Kathleen, I would go back. So I'm glad that you're sort of recommitting yourself to it. But what I would do is I would pay very close attention to how are you asking, how are you describing the program. Sort of it's the what's the sell, for lack of a better term, what's the sell process in the store? Is everyone on your staff asking every person? Are they showing real enthusiasm? One of the things that I've heard several times is people saying, when I introduced it in the store, my staff was real skeptical. They didn't want to do it. I got a lot of pushback. And so, you as the owner have to make a commitment to it and really get people, you have to show excitement for it. You have to make it a non-negotiable standard that everybody does it every time. And, you have to sort of give it a push, because once it starts rolling, it will definitely roll. But so don't let that pushback from your staff discourage you. Make it happen.
I think sometimes, too, making sure that when you talk to the customer in a real benefits-focused way, rather than saying, do you want to fill out a card, and letting them know right away that, that would you like to save this much on your next,
right.
Purchase might be a way.
Right. You're absolutely right, Natalie, and that's what I was sort of referring to when I was talking about the sell. How are you, really, work on it. Get it down. Because, once you get it down, once you get that part of the conversation down, then you've got it down. Then everybody you hire from now on, you can use the same language. It's one of those things that you do it once and use it again and again and again. So.
Right. And there was another question that was similar to this from Rachel, just saying that it takes so long at the register, and they have frequent buyer cards. They look like they're a pet store, and people complain that it's not computerized and takes too long. And they tend to be she says, it seems like kind of a high maintenance attitude. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, so we've got dozens and dozens of pet stores who are using it. Again, that comes back to, it takes a long time to enter, to type it all into the counter anyway. It's just part of that whole thing, a part of that selling it. If it takes so long at the register, so you could say it'll just take a second, and then again, to your point, Natalie, go back to the benefits.
Mm-hmm. Cheryl asks, and it's not a stupid question. She says it might be a stupid question. No question is stupid, but why not 5 boxes or 8 boxes?
That's a great question. It's not stupid, I'm telling you. So here's the story of this program, and it ties into your question. So this was when I still owned it. For those of you who don't know, I owned a retail business for 19 years, and I wanted a frequent buyer program. And so I'm looking around, and our Pro was our POS system, and I was having problems with them anyway, and they wanted a fortune to do some custom programming and yada, 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 yada. And my brother Steve, who was my partner, who now owns the Mackinac Kite Company, one day I come in and he goes, "Hey, I got your frequent buyer program." I go, "What do you mean?" He says, "It's already set up." And here's what happened is there were 2 grandmothers who came into our toy store. They lived in the town north of us, and when they'd go buy for their grandkids, they'd make 2 stops. They'd come to our toy store, kite store, toy store, that they liked the best, but then they would also drive down to the town south of us and shop at that toy store. They didn't like it as much, but they had this program. But that program, you had to make 10 purchases. And what Steve and I right away said, well, why 10? You want it. You want people to redeem as quickly as possible. And we have some people who have a 4-box program. If you have higher ticket items, you could make it a 4-box program. You don't want people to take too long. So if you have higher ticket, lower margin items with a longer buying cycle, meaning people shop less frequently with you, you might want to make it 5% and 4 purchases, or 3% and 3 purchases. If you have a convenience store or a coffee shop where people are coming in a couple of times a week, you may want to make it a 10-box program, because otherwise, you're redeeming so much that it does become inconvenient, and they're coming in often enough that they're, winning the prize and redeeming often. But that's a great question.
It looks like Mary Stevens has the totally right idea here. She says, what about giving customers a $100 box for their birthday?
$100 box, sure. That's Mary, congratulations. You're thinking about this correctly. $100 box for your birthday. Here's something else that people do is they if you bring in someone and that someone fills out enrolls in the program, the amount of their purchase that first day gets put into the referrer's box. See, so if I haul Natalie into your store because I love your store and I think Natalie will love it, and Natalie spends $50, I get my purchase plus Natalie's purchase just for that day, just for the first day when she signs up. But so, Mary, you're seeing it absolutely correctly, for your birthday, for all sorts of stuff. Some people do double days, so you get double your purchase, on those particular days. So you see, and the beautiful thing about this launch and this program and the way that Mary in particular is thinking about it, it gives you a reason to talk to your customers and show them the love and, build some excitement and get them excited about shopping with you.
Dave asks, is the 5 to 10% off on all purchases after the 6 boxes are filled forever or just on their next purchase?
Oh, forever. So the last thing you want to do is get somebody excited about a redemption and then pull the program away from them. So so now, and perhaps I'm not hearing Dave's
I think the 10%
correctly.
off. I think he's asking, is that 10% off good on their 7th purchase, or is it good forever?
Oh, I mean, when it's their money. So I come into your store, Dave, and I fill out 6 boxes, and I have a credit of $40. So you write me a gift certificate or something like that, and I can use it. What you'll find is that there are lots of people who save their credits and spend them at Christmas. They use it as a little Christmas account. Someone did come up to me and says, "Well, after that first time they fill out the 6 boxes, do you not do it anymore?" It's like, heavens no! They love it. Keep using it. Keep doing it. So,
Lori wants to know about phone customers. Do we tell them about the program as well?
Absolutely, Lori. Great question. Web customers, it becomes a little trickier, but the answer is yes. So, I mean, I'm assuming she's a florist because it's a common question with floral groups. So, the question is, are you part of our Bloomin' Bucks program or whatever it is? And they say, yes, it is. Then you just say, I'll be sure to add your purchase to your card.
And then somebody just wanted you to repeat where you keep that box. Do you keep it behind the counter or out in the store?
Great question. Out in the store. Again, and so I would encourage you all to go back and just listen to this. You can download it and put it on a CD or an MP3 player and listen to it in your car. But, you want to have it out because, the act of going to the box and pulling the card is a subconscious affirmation of your relationship. I showed the picture of Ann Schneider in her library box. She was like, she's got lights on it and some heavenly music playing around it. You really want to make that the experience of going to get your card, part of the experience of coming to your store.
All right, that's pretty much all on the written-in questions. Do you want me to unmute people and see if we have any questions on the phone?
Let's do that. That's a great idea. Hate to miss any.
All right, we're going to hear some noise here for a minute. Now, try to pick out who it is that's asking the first question.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Okay.
Is this Gainesville, Florida?
Thank you.
No, they're,
I think someone's
they're
talking
in their
to their
store.
customer.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, good job making the sale, Gainesville. So she didn't invite him to join the program. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that part of the process yet, though.